Oh yes, it's coming in 3, 2, 1. On the air with FDT-TV, the premier West Ham and Arsenal football podcast, brought to you every Monday by Michael Hawes and Ian Varker. Hello and welcome to episode 40 of On the Air of FDT-TV. How you doing, Mike?
Mate, it's a sad day. It's a sad, sad day.
And you haven't even played Newcastle yet, as of recording.
No. As of recording, the teams have been announced. We are 13 minutes away from kickoff. But yeah, if we don't win this tonight, we are in big trouble. We will come on to the abysmal game against Spurs shortly. But yeah, there's a lot riding on this tonight.
I don't want to say I told you that would happen, but I did.
To be honest, mate,
I did say.
No, I'll be honest. I had a gut feeling it was going to happen. It was a head and heart situation. Unfortunately, I went with my heart last week. Should have gone with my head. But it was very much sitting on the fence, and we just didn't turn up. You
have got a something going for you though. Is Tottenham are the perennial bottlers, so it's not all bad.
No. There's to be honest, I thought there was going to be a bit more, or Burnley was going to be a more difficult game, but they got Norwich next, so we definitely need to win both our last two games without a shadow of a doubt.
Fair enough.
I've got a cold again. Fucking kids.
You wait till they start going to school. It's
Jesus.
So for the first time in a while, I think this season is coming to an exciting conclusion. It's going to go down to the last day of the season for champions. It's going to go down to the last day of the season for relegation. So obviously Watford and Norwich are already gone, but any one of Everton, Burnley and Leeds could still get relegated, and either Liverpool or Manchester City could win the Premier League. And Liverpool are potentially still on for a quadruple, which I don't think has ever happened before.
Nope.
So, yeah, I mean, we almost stopped Man City winning the title. I think if they don't win it now, Liverpool fans can thank us.
Yeah, I've got a bone to pick with you.
So, yeah, sorry, everybody.
Prick.
You just made the next 10 years unbearable, 50 years unbearable if they do a quadruple now. But yeah, so North London derby. I think that's the best way to start this. It all went very wrong. But talk us through it.
No, I don't.
Relive those moments of pain, Mike.
To be honest, I think we started quite brightly in the game. And I was actually feeling quite positive for the first 10-15 minutes, and then Rob Holding happened. You see him go too tight with Son, and it was an accumulation of fouls. To be honest, I'm going to go back slightly, because as soon as I saw Portini as the referee, I was like, there's going to be a red card in this game. Didn't know who it was going to be for, most likely us, but you knew there was going to be a red card in this game.
And it was going to be a light one at that.
Yes. So on that, we, as I said, we started quite brightly, and then Rob Holding got booked for an accumulation of challenges, which is fair enough. They then got a penalty. To be honest, I can see why it was given, depending on which angle you look at. But no complaints from me. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, penalty. And from the outcry on social media for that particular decision, it's only looking back now, the whole Liverpool thing has reared its ugly head again, and I'll come on to that in a bit. But yeah, for if it was against us, or if the penalty was for us, you'd want it given. So I can completely understand why it was given. So that puts us on the back foot. Rob Holding then decided to completely forget what sport he was playing, and for a moment was playing ice hockey. And to be honest, if he'd have got that foul in ice hockey, he would have got beaten up by the enforcers and possibly 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even banned from the game because it was. I'm not even going to say it was reckless. It was disgusting. There was no intention to play the ball whatsoever. Again, I appreciate the team around him saying, "Oh, it's just his shoulder. It's just his shoulder." It wasn't. It was a full-on check in the face. So again, no complaints for me for the red card. And yeah, we just as soon as we went one down, we lost our heads, and it was an absolute shambles. And I'm gutted because that had the makings of one of the best North London derbies for a while. And if you're a Spurs fan, it probably was. We got a red card, and we were back up. We had our backs to the wall for the remaining 70 minutes or whatever it was. So yeah, not entirely pleased for that particular game. Spurs, I'll give Spurs the credit they deserve. They were brilliant in the game. They managed the game well, and absolutely punished us. And it's not often you hear me say that.
No, you never like singing Spurs praises, but they were the better team on the day. I think you have to admit that. Do you think that's maybe somewhere where Arsenal, one, the younger players will grow into, but two, you need to improve that player that likes a big game, that turns up on the big occasion, because that seems to be your letdown this season. Whenever there's a pivotal point or an important game that you've got to win, or that's slightly turning and your back's against a wall, there doesn't seem to be anyone to sort of take the game by the nuts, so to speak, and go, let's go win this thing. Do you think that's somewhere you need to improve, or?
Yeah, 100%. And I'd also like to say on this, I appreciate we've got the youngest squad within the league, but one of the things I've noticed, whenever we go on a run of games, that's when the wheels fall off, and it always gets to 4 or 5 games, and the wheels come off, which is why I'm absolutely terrified for this game this evening. I've got to be honest, I'm petrified for this game. I think Newcastle are safe, so I'm hoping that they've checked out ready for the summer holidays, and we can make potentially like work of it. But I don't know, man. This is one of these ones I can see us losing, if I'm being completely honest.
I think that Eddie Howe will have them well drilled on the basis that one or two things. We're going to be spending big in the summer, and I'd like to say it's going to be me being here, but that's not necessarily going to be the case. So you're playing for one or two things: a big contract here, or a place in a different Premier League team. So you need to go out and impress. And I think that's maybe what's up to their game level every week. Look, we're going to be doing this, so you can be the player who gets the big contract, or you could be the player that plays somewhere else. Either way, you've got to play to impress. Otherwise, you end up in League One. And I think a number of those players have gone, oh, hang on a minute, he might be right here. We're not just going to drop down to the Championship with them. We'll be gone. So I think this is a difficult game because Newcastle have got the same league record as you in the last 5 games, I believe. So the form is pretty much similar. But you're the bigger scout to take, aren't you?
Yep.
So for you to go, oh, we beat Newcastle, you go, oh, okay. But for Newcastle to and go, oh, actually, we beat Arsenal. You're still a big scalp in a sense. The one I would be equally as concerned about is Everton. So you've got the ability to have a deciding factor in some sense with who goes down. And Everton have been playing reasonably well recently. I know they got 2 players sent off in the last game, and Brentford scored a quick-fire double. But they've been playing well, and you always seem to, I don't know, when you play Everton, it just disintegrates.
Okay.
So, I mean, I know you said that you wasn't sure. Sorry, I'm just watching my dog take a shit. I know you said that you thought you might not take any more points from this season, but can you really see that happening now?
Again, it's a head and heart situation. My heart hopes that we will get 3 points tonight. To be honest, even if it's one of these games where we don't play well, but we come away with the victory, I'll
Yep.
be happy with. Anything less than a win tonight is game over.
Yeah.
100%. The Spurs ain't going to slip up at Norwich. Norwich are already relegated. They've got nothing to play for. The whipping boys of the Premier League this year. It's not going to happen. We can't fail this evening.
You say that, but Spurs playing Norwich, that is the sort of game they would typically bowl.
I don't. Do you know what? Any other team in the league, but not with Norwich.
Not with Norwich, it's just not good enough.
No.
So yeah. So what you're going to say is Everton are safe in the hands of Arsenal on the last day of the season. They don't even have to win; they just have to draw to be mathematically safe. I think now.
Right. Well, again, head and heart. In my heart, I'm saying 2 wins on the bounce.
Yeah.
In my head, possibly a draw tonight and a loss.
Well, good. Finish big, mate. Finish big.
Yeah. Last game at home as well.
So, I mean, on the other hand, we've potentially had a deciding factor at the other end of the table.
Yes, and I'm not too happy about that, mate. If I'm being completely honest.
No.
I was mortified when I saw the score yesterday.
So here's the thing: West Ham scored 3 goals in that game. 2 from Jared Bowen, rounded the keeper twice. 1 from Vladimir Sufel, which was a good header, and it was one of those. It was one of those. I feel sorry for him because if he had left it, Laporte would have got on the end of it. It would have been a goal anyway. So he's got to try and get something on it, and it's beat the keeper. So it's one of those things. What I will the penalty save as well, yes. But what I would say is, and I know I keep saying it over and over again, the refereeing in the Premier League is fixed. And what I mean by that is Fernandinho versus Antonio. So Antonio kept ending up on the floor. And to start off with, he was being dragged and chucked to the floor, shirt pulled, whatnot. He was getting nothing for it. So then he started to dramatise it a bit more. Still got nothing for it. And then at one point, he got held round the waist and literally, it was like the old German suplex in WWE, onto the floor. And the referee went, "Get up, you're diving." And it's like, hang on a minute. Any other player would have been sent off 4 times in that match. So I'm not saying that all of Antonio's he should have gone down, but the fact that he wasn't getting anything just makes you think, well, hang on a minute, there is an agenda here because you want to make this exciting. And it really does come down to the last gasp with the best teams. If West Ham had gone on to beat, like Fernandinho goes, the way we were playing yesterday, big occasion, Mark Noble's last home game ever, we go on to win that game 4-0, I reckon, 4-1 maybe. But
who's not who's did you cry during Noble's speech?
Do you know what? I didn't watch it. I was around my old man, so I didn't watch all the after bits, but I watched it today and it did bring a tear to my eye. Obviously my favourite player ever retiring. Obviously I had the pleasure of meeting him a year or so ago. It might have been just before lockdown actually, so a couple of years ago now. But really nice, genuinely nice guy. Does a lot for community. Done a lot for West Ham, and it's one of those things. I think Ben Shepherd summed it up nicely with it's not what people don't remember what you say or whatnot. It's how they make you feel, and you've made us feel like one of the team for the last 18 years. So yeah, it was a bit emotional, but yeah, hopefully he will stay on within the club, and at some point I'm sure we will see Mr. West Ham managing West Ham, and then everyone will hate him eventually, because that's the way it goes, isn't it? But no, he's a good lad, and say it's just hopefully this one will sign that 8-year contract and become the next Mr. West Ham. But I'm not going to hold my breath too much for that.
I've got to be honest, actually, when I was watching the speech, the farewell speech, I I'm not even a West Ham fan. Even I got a little bit choked up because you look at how long he's been at the club. Obviously, the passion he has for it and how much he adores the fans as well. I mean, he said it's a very, what was it, something like a very emotional day for me and my family. And when I say family, I mean there's 60,000 of them here. Even that, I was like, oh, go on, son. That was awesome. And to be honest, it reminded me of when Wenger left. For his speech, and I'll be one to admit I had a little tear for Mr. Wenger as well, because it's all I knew as an Arsenal fan. I caught into it the Bruce Rioch / Arsene Wenger era. It was all I knew, and the thought of someone else coming in, and then you see what an average job Unai Emery was doing. I was like, getting back sort of thing. But anyway, I digress.
It was it's difficult. I mean, I remember being at school and being ridiculed for saying he should be captain. When we brought in Kevin Nolan and made him captain, I was like, no, Mark Noble should be captain. And everyone's like, no, he's not good enough, he's too young. Actually, I don't know how he's never got an England cap. Okay, he's not always played at the highest level because he's stuck with us, but he is calm. He's very rarely give the ball away with a silly pass. He put in a big tackle, and he's a captain. Do you know what I mean? In the dressing room is where he has his biggest impact, I think, especially the last few seasons. But yeah, he's done well for us. Made his debut against Southend in the League Cup, so years ago. But yeah. It's all good fun. But yeah, we did score 2 goals. Jared Bowen now with 12 goals this season. He's another one I think will go. Obviously, we did secure some form of European football with that result. It's guaranteed. Whether it's the Europa League or the Conference League is yet to be decided. With Liverpool winning the Carabao Cup, I think that helps us out because that then place goes to the league. And they won the FA Cup, so that place then goes to the league. So I think it may be Europa League, but with a qualifier.
Okay.
I think. I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, it's difficult because I think even with that, I do think Jared Bowen will be snapped up. He's too good not to be playing in not a Champions League squad. And Declan Rice, they've offered him an 8-year deal, guaranteed 200,000 a week, and essentially said, if you want it to be 10 years, we'll make it 10. If you want it to be 12, we'll make it 12. Guaranteed at 200 a week to rise with inflation. And his representatives have sort of said, we can get double that. And it's a difficult one because when you think about it, you look at it, what they've guaranteed is £83.5 million over the next 8 years, which is a lot of money. And I understand he could probably go and get 300,000, 400. When you start looking into the realms of 300,000, 400,000, and the players that are on that, there's not many. And you got Kevin De Bruyne, Van Dijk. It's all Man City players. And the real top echelons. Like Salah's not on 400 grand a week, so he might get it for a contract of 3 years, and then he's got to either negotiate again where he's not going to get that much, or he's going to drop down to a different level. And as much as I think he should go out to win everything, I wouldn't begrudge him for that. I think he needs to be honest about it. If he turns around and says, no, I love the club, I want to sign, I want to get it done, this, that and the other, and then to go and sign for someone else, you sort of become the villain. If he was to come out and say, I want to go and play at the top club in the world, I want to earn a shitload of money, and I want to win everything. And as much as I love West Ham and you've helped me get to this point, I'm not going to be able to achieve that here. And I think, especially if he threw in a that's because of the bald, he would become an instant hero for the rest of time. Yeah. Not saying that's what he should do, but I think West Ham, although we can be a fickle bunch, we're a very passionate bunch, and he can if he leaves in the summer, he could still go down as a West Ham hero, providing he does it in the right way.
Yep. Do you think, in all seriousness, I mean, when does his contract run out?
He's got another 2 years on it in a minute.
All right, okay. So it's not imperative to get sorted out right away. But do you think with that sort of thing, with the contract speculation, do you think it would be reasonable for him to get the World Cup out of the way and then look at the contracts possibly after that? Or would you prefer it was done before?
I would prefer it's done before, if I'm totally honest with you. For a reason of you then don't have to worry. Okay, they've offered him 8 years, and that's a long time, but it's a lot. That's a lot of money to be guaranteed. Like some players don't make that in their career, let alone for it to be guaranteed. If he did turn around and go, make it 12 years, I'll sign. Then fine. I still think they should say, okay, we'll make it 12 years or 10 years, whatever it is, but we'll put a buyout clause in at year number 3. If someone offers us 120 million for you, you can leave, or something to that. Set what they think is acceptable.
Yep.
And people go, oh, that ain't gonna happen. Jack Grealish went for 100 million, and they're saying Declan Rice for 100 and I think it was 130. They've said is the minimum, and I'll let him go for. Is Jack Grealish? No, is Declan Rice £30 million a better player than Jack Grealish? I would say so. He plays in more positions. He scores goals. He's a captain, and he's younger, and he is just, in terms of defensive midfielders, I think you've got Kante, probably the only one in the world better than him. He's going to win your points. My biggest concern is Fernandinho is leaving Manchester City at the end of the season. And that, I know they have Rodri, but Fernandinho has been filling in at centre-back, which Declan Rice can do. That's where he made his breakthrough in the West Ham team. He's that holding midfielder that sweeps up. He's very calm, composed, makes that simple pass, and can run forward with the ball and score. Actually, Man City go, we've bought Erling Haaland this year, so we've got loads of goals, but actually Fernandinho is a big part of our team and has been for the last, 6-7 years at least. That's a big hole we got to fill. How do we do it? They're not going to go, right, let's bring in a youth player. They're going to go, let's bring in the next England captain that's proven in the Premier League. He's got over 100 appearances in the Premier League already. He's 23 years old. Cool, let's give him a 5-year deal. And I wouldn't begrudge him for doing it. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't, because Man City are going to win everything next year. Haaland, I'm going to say it now, Haaland's going to go out and score like 40 odd goals in the Premier League, provided he doesn't get injured. And everyone's going to go, oh, Harry Kane is going to be the top goal scorer in the Premier League. Haaland's going to do it in 2 seasons. 2 seasons he's going to be the top goal scorer ever.
Yeah. I heard the other day actually about his buyout clause. His buyout clause was something ridiculous, like 63 million.
I don't even think it was that much, if I'm honest. But again, they bought him for 4 million quid, and everyone else was like, we don't know whether to take a chance on him, this, that, and the other. I think a lot of them are begrudging it now, but you don't know.
Yeah.
He seems like a very driven and determined character. Would his development have been the same in the Premier League? Possibly, possibly not. But yeah, but then he's gone, right, okay, I'll do 2 seasons, then I want to buy out. And if it's not done in that year, then I'll carry on till the end of my contract. And I think that's fair. If you know you're, as a player, I'm going places, I'm going to be worth a lot more than that. I'm going to score loads of goals, put this in, and that's a lot of money. And to Dortmund, it probably is a lot of money. It's not Premier League money, but it's like, is Jack Grealish twice the player of Haaland? I don't think so. I don't even think he's worth 1 Southampton, if I'm honest.
I love that. That's how the measure of it is.
That's.
But
I'm not.
That went?
Yeah, I'm not being funny. I think this is strange, right? They could have bought Southampton as a club, transferred James Ward-Prowse into the Man City team, sold all the rest of the players, dissolved the club, and ended up with more money. But instead they went and bought Jack Grealish. And you're like, hang on. If someone wants to buy Ward-Prowse, it's going to cost them 70 million quid. The whole club was only worth 100. Well, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
But how much did Newcastle go for? That wasn't as much as that, was it?
Newcastle, they were about 300.
Oh, was that 300, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that one was less.
No, that was about 300 million.
But crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So the Declan Rice thing, I think, is all about media, how he manages it in the media and how open he is with fans.
Yep.
And that will make him either a hero or a villain.
Yeah, that's fair enough. There's something to watch out for in the coming weeks.
Hopefully he's still a West Ham player by the World Cup, but who knows?
We'll have to wait and see.
So that brings us on to something else. There are no more predictions. That's because there has been a champion that is yet to be crowned.
Nah, the season's null and void, mate. You cheated.
Null and void. COVID rules. Null and void it. So, if you didn't know, we did make predictions almost every week, and in some big sporting events as to what was going to go on. And we got 3 points for a correct result, 1 point or correct score, 1 point for a correct result, and 0 points if you just were waffling when you was making a prediction.
Yep.
So Mike, I'll give you a bit of a drum roll, but what are the what were the points prior to last week's things? Because we did predict the Arsenal result as well.
Yes.
But what were the scores before we made our latest predictions?
So, if you bear with me just 2 seconds, I swear I had it open, but I can't bloody find it.
It's always the way.
Yeah.
I have that problem going to the toilet. I'm sure it was there, but I just can't find it.
Same.
That's a horrible fault for everyone there. Sorry.
Comes with old age, mate.
I'm not even old yet. It's the problem.
Right. So, I have the scores. The scores. So, you were on 54 points.
Mm-hmm.
I was on 46 points. So, there was a 9-point gap.
Yep.
No, an 8-point gap. 8-point gap. And to be honest, I thought I was going to claw it back the last couple of games. However, we made 4 predictions this weekend. Or last weekend, sorry. The reason why I'm looking so like an absolute ball bag is because I'm in again. I know I said it at the start, but I just feel like I need to reiterate because I feel like absolute arse.
I thought you were going to say it's because you got no hair. Actually, no. That's that. I see an article the other day. It's sexual harassment in the workplace. Is it called you bald?
Yeah.
Lucky this isn't a workplace, isn't it, mate?
It is my place of work, mate.
So yeah, I was on more point. I was on more points than Mike was.
Yes, yeah, quite significantly. 8-point gap. So we had Tottenham versus Arsenal. You had 2-1 prediction. I had 2-2. Therefore, the score was 3-0, as we know. You get a point. I get 0. West Ham versus Man City. You had 3-2 to West Ham. I had 3-1 to Man City. And the score was 2-2. So 0 points each there.
Well, technically, we scored 3 goals. That's all I'm saying. I didn't specify what end the goals were going to go in.
No, you didn't. Well, technically, you specified the score. So.
Well, okay.
Anyway.
I was just trying to weasel some more points out of you, mate.
Newcastle versus Arsenal. You've gone for 2-1 Newcastle. I've gone for 2-1 Arsenal.
And the current score is?
0-0. 15 minutes in.
Okay.
Unless you know otherwise, and mine's...
No, I'm not. I've not got it on.
So it's 0-0 currently. We're not losing, which is good. The other game was Chelsea versus Liverpool.
In the FA Cup final, yeah.
Yep. So it was 0-0 come full time, 0-0 come after extra time, and Liverpool win on penalties. We both went for a Chelsea win. So even if I would have gone with the overall winner, Liverpool won, so no points to either of us for that.
Yep.
So the scores for the week currently are you are on 1 point and I'm on 0 points, obviously depending on the score today. But I'll be completely honest, mate, it's not going to make the blindest bit of difference.
Nope.
So, Ian, currently you are on 55, I am on 46, and therefore, my friend, I would like to crown you the trophy champion.
Well, it sort of does depend on the crux of if you get a perfect record and I don't get any points, it could be a draw.
It's not going to happen though, mate. My results, my predictions this year have been absolutely abysmal compared to the previous 2 seasons when I absolutely wiped the floor with you. But do you know what I'm going to blame? I'm going to blame my daughter for this one.
I'll show that in years to come. So the
distraction.
I think the thing is this year though is my really obscure picks have come out, because I think maybe 8-9 weeks in I was on 26 points, and then I've just picked up a point here and a point there for the rest of the time.
I would just like to go back to something actually, something which you mentioned at the back end of last season,
right?
Which I'm kind of strangely proud of you for.
Go on.
So at the end of last season, you said this will be the season where West Ham will qualify for the Europa League, will win the Europa League, and will get relegated. Now,
well,
no. I think for me. Realistically, it was one of those things where you're talking absolute.
You're getting nowhere near Europa League final yet.
But for West Ham, for the season they've had, I think we should do a season roundup.
I think if we don't get to it next week, I think definitely we'll get one out. Definitely.
Yeah, because I think West Ham have been one of the most enjoyable teams at times to watch. Always the underdog. You pulled out some incredible results. And to be honest, I'd say my guilty pleasure this year.
Ooh.
I think they've been absolutely brilliant. Certainly at times where we've been diabolical.
Certainly those first 4 games of the season.
Well, yeah. Absolutely. But then again, Brentford were a guilty pleasure as well at times. So,
yeah.
No, I think West Ham have been absolutely brilliant. And I think David Moyes should win Manager of the Year.
He won't know. It'll go to Klopp, won't it? In his asthmatic team.
Yep. I see a few people on socials talking about
well done to the asthmatics representing that proportion of the community. Here's the thing, right? And I know I mentioned it last week. There are more and more Liverpool players who seem to be on the way out. Say Mane, he looks like he's definitely going to be leaving. Salah is in even more of a contract standoff. And I think that's because they're worried at some point this is going to come back to bite them. Let's get out of there before the doping committee looks into it too much, and we'll just say no, we didn't know anything about it. We weren't actually doing it, and then otherwise they'll end up with a big ban themselves. Just saying, but I think there's got to be an inquest somewhere. Has to be.
I agree. There has to be an inquest. However, what I think we need to look at seriously is there's no rules against it currently, is there?
There's rules against using it if you're not asthmatic.
Oh right, okay, fair enough.
So essentially, what they're doing allegedly, is taking it not via a pump, not orally. Oh, they're taking it via a pill or intravenously. which is then where the benefit comes in. But they're allowed to do that because they're asthmatic.
Yes. Okay.
So it's very difficult because what it takes is for someone who knows really what they're talking about to go and have a look and go, okay, at their previous clubs, was there any sign of it? No, there wasn't. There must be some form of medical history on them. Okay, now after the fact, when players have moved on, is there anything? No, there isn't. Okay, so what's the common denominator here? They go to Liverpool and they're told they're asthmatic.
Liverpool.
Bloody cheats. Relegate them.
Oh, just imagine that though. If there was some retrospective action and they got the championship actually taken away from them, that'd be amazing. They'd have to null and void them, wouldn't they? They'd have to null and void the whole season.
But the what's been alleged is it's been alleged since Klopp has been bringing these big players in. So the Champions Leagues, the Premier Leagues,
the Premier League.
So they would all potentially, the FA Cups, they would all potentially be revoked because of doping. But it's difficult because I think at that point Liverpool would go, well, the Premier League fixed matches. And then you go, oh, shit. So it's one of those, do they go on the quiet, like, stop doing that? Or do they go, pardon me, we're going to make an example out of you and rebuff any problems you say about refereeing and VAR being fixed? Because you're just saying that because we've taken your titles off you. But I don't know.
It's a hard one.
Maybe that's something for the off-season. But, yes.
Watch this space.
So, champion. Almost European champion. Not quite Premier League champion. But there is one thing. We are fucking massive. I'm not going to keep saying it, but...
You are.
It's just a fact, isn't it?
So where do we rank in the grand scheme of things? I don't mean...
Well...
Does it depend on if we get Champions League football?
What, in terms of how massive are you?
Yeah. I know we'll never be as massive as West Ham, but there's got to be some degree of massiveness if we do get Champions League again.
No, see, it's difficult, isn't it? Because West Ham are massive on the basis of fans are arrogant, and we're arrogant and overly confident where we shouldn't be. Where I think Arsenal used to be massive, and you're still living on the coattails of being massive, even though you're not anymore. It's like the bloke who used to be huge, as a 19-year-old, he was like yoked, and now he's 56, and he's got a dad bod and saggy muscles, and all the steroids he used to take have made his penis shrink. And he's like, oh, yeah, I used to be massive, and you're like, yeah, but you're not anymore.
Are we on the same kind of level here, like the Woolston Raider or something?
Yeah, you got no fans. Like he was good that 1 year, wasn't he? He was good that 1 year, and now he's still living off that. You got no fans. Just people go up to him randomly in the street and shout at him.
Yeah, that's okay. Right, now I know my level.
Potentially, no, but if you get top four and then next season you go on to do well, then I'll give it back some credit.
We'll be big.
Be like the Go Compare man at that point. Like he's had a decent reign, hasn't he? Like
he has. He has.
So
it's less Gareth Gates, more Will Young.
Yeah, that's it. At the minute, you're more Gareth Gates, you are Will Young. Yeah, so you just need to the old switcheroo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's now, if anyone can actually work out what we were talking about there, they're fantastic. If not,
well done,
then yeah.
I'm not even going to apologise.
No, in fairness, I was getting slightly confused what we were talking about, and I knew what we were talking about. But hey ho, never mind. Right, so I think that's it for this week.
Yep.
I think that's it. So next week we will have obviously last game recap and maybe some bits, and then to be waited for the complete season summary possibly the week after. But yes, so I've been Ian.
I've been Mike.
If you're here still, then go over to YouTube comments and type in sausages, and make sure you subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Thanks very much.
Bye.